we have a brand new Bloomberg Politics poll with our partners at Purple Strategies. We looked at the 7 southern states that vote on the Republican side of the presidential race on March 1. This is an online poll that surveyed the combined populations of likely primary voters from those so-called SEC primary states. Here's what we found. Donald Trump with 37%, a whopping 17 points ahead of Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, who are tied at 20. John Kasich, Ben Carson are mired in the single digits. So Mark, out there in Houston, my friend, what stands out to you most about this poll?
Donald Trump is king of the South, and he's strong not just in the horse race, but the voters here don't consider him the most conservative, and yet they still give him the lead. That means that attempts to paint him as less conservative are not going to have a cataclysmic effect on his standing. And the other thing in the poll is we tested him head-to-head with the individual candidates, and he beats them. And that that undermines the argument. There you see it, Trump over Cruz, 49-40 on a one-on-one. Trump over Rubio, 48-44. Those are close, but it puts a lie to the notion that if the field would just winnow, somehow Trump would disintegrate.
I agree. I think that, if you look at this poll, and look, it's hard to poll a whole bunch of states all together. We have a lot of confidence in this poll, but it's a complicated business here doing all these southern states. But it really is true what you said, Mark. It's not just that he's ahead by so much. It's the ways in which he's ahead and the ways in which on virtually every important trait, Donald Trump holds a commanding lead over these two guys. This is a delegate race, of course, as you know, and so it's possible that in given states, Ted Cruz could pick up a state, one of these southern states, particularly Texas. Marco Rubio could get a bunch of delegates in some of these states. But it seems to me, on the basis of this poll, it's hard to escape the conclusion that Donald Trump will be the big winner in the South, at least, on March 1st.
Well, and of course, that is the most conservative part of the party. The Mountain West is conservative as well, but it's a very conservative part of the country. Apparently, they either like New York values here in the South, or they're willing to overlook New York values because Trump is so strong here, and it fleshes out, and people can look at our colleague John McCormick's story now on BloombergPolitics.com. It fleshes out the breadth and depth of his strength here in the South, beyond South Carolina, means he's in line to have a very big day, the best day of anyone, maybe by a lot, on Tuesday.
Yes, and obviously the implications of that are quite striking, Mark. I mean, if he has a big day in the South, and you know how strong he is in some places outside the South in these March 1st states, it just gives a little more ballast to this argument that's been emerging over the course of the past few days since Trump, first in South Carolina and then since Nevada, that Trump could on March 1st not put the nomination away, but come pretty close to putting it away.